My name is Giulia. I am a theater maker, choreographer, performance designer and researcher. I'm originally from Italy and I live in Belgium. In 2023, I founded dance research and development platform called Dancing from Archives, and the focus is on post-industrial heritage as well as the inclusion of working class collective memory and working class narratives within the performing arts. And it's the first time I do a project in Romania, so I was very much looking forward to discover the environment and the culture and the specific context as it relates to post-industrial buildings. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about refineries, so I was very interested in discovering more, as my research is on the historical context and political context, but also on the material itself, on the chemical process, and on the movement, the memories of the workers. So everything that is personal as well as collective, as well as physically existing, linked to the factory. Of course, the refinery in Campina is a very old refinery that carries the knowledge of different eras and different generations and changes and wars and revolutions, and a huge archive to discover. And I was very lucky to be hosted by groups and people that have a huge knowledge about all those elements and that have also a strong link with the community. So I could really discover memories and discover that within this refinery there were actually a lot of different factories and nearly an entire ecosystem that was actually independent and could function on its own. So that's pretty unique, architecturally speaking as well. So there are buildings that are dating 100 years ago, and there are buildings that are dating around the time before the Second World War. There are buildings that were rebuilt after being bombed. So it's really a rich archive. And also there are some oil rigs that are still from the very first time that the refinery was open. There are some new ones. It's really like an extended landscape of connections, of pipes that lead to different towns. It was very inspiring and very interesting also to understand the dynamics with this space that used to be owned by the state and then was closed and now it's private, and also the feelings of the community about this. What does it mean to not be able to enter in a place where maybe your father and your grandfather, your great-grandfather worked in? During the residency, we organized a series of workshops. The first one was with a mixed group of adults from the neighborhood. The second one was with the teenagers, and the third one was with former workers of the refinery or people that were directly connected with the refinery. And the idea of the final event was to use some things that were discovered during these workshops and insert them in the narrative that we were creating. One thing that I discovered is that there is really an openness that I felt here from the people of all ages to be involved, to participate, also to trust, like to just read a text and record a text even though it's the first time that they have a camera or they have a mic put on them, and to do it like the best way they can. It was really beautiful, and of course it has to do with the work that the host organizations have done and the connections they have directly, and that's why they were then so welcoming to me as well.
Rafineria la prezent este un grup de inițiativă civică înființat în 2021 cu scopul de a arăta comunității câmpinene valoarea culturală a rafineriei Steaua Română. Giulia Vitiello este un artist complet. Ne-a surprins cu abordarea ei asupra patrimoniului industrial în general și în mod special modul în care a privit rafineria și orașul. Aveam nevoie cumva de o nouă perspectivă, un nou mod de a vedea lucrurile, pentru că noi lucrăm de atât de mult timp cu rafineria, încât aveam nevoie de perspectiva asta, să ne detașăm puțin și să vedem prin ochii altcuiva. Ea lucrează cu foarte multe metode, aduce la oaltă sunetul, lumina, imaginea, mișcarea. Ceea ce a realizat în timpul rezidenței de la Câmpina este complet diferit de tot ceea ce noi am făcut până acum în ceea ce privește activitățile cu comunitatea.
Petrolul curgea ca sângele într-un corp viu, clădire după clădire. Țevile, asemenea venelor și arterelor, sunt peste tot în acest ansamblu. De la inimă spre exterior, vin spre exterior spre inimă.
I think the community has really strong feelings about this space, and there was, for example, this woman that shared a memory about having suffered so much for losing her husband, which was working in the refinery, and that she would suffer the same if the refinery would be destroyed, because that carries such a personal memory to her. And I think the community maybe feels a bit like lacking the power, but I think they are also ready to take an initiative and ready to participate.
1503 este o asociație care își are originea denumirii în anul atestării orașului, Câmpina, înființată cu scopul de a promova și a iniția proiecte educaționale și culturale. Pe termen mediu ne propunem să scoatem un manual de istorie locală și pe termen mediu și lung să înființăm un muzeu al orașului.
Am reușit să-i arătăm și împrejurimile, rafinăria și industria conexă generată de către ea în Câmpina sunt doar nucleul unui peisaj cultural mai larg, bazat pe industria petrolieră, special pe extracție și prelucrare, pe care noi l-am numit peisajul cultural petrolier Drăgăneasa Câmpina Buștenari, și am fost și în cele două sate pe care le-am numit Drăgăneasa și Buștenari, care sunt niște nume sonore pentru industria petrolului românesc.
I have two favorite moments. The first one was the second time that I was allowed inside the refinery. After a tour, I was led to one of the offices and I had a conversation with some people that are working now for the company that owns the refinery. And I thought, they asked me again in which way I work with archives, and they were curious to know what exactly am I looking for, wanting to make like dance and theater performances in a refinery. And I showed them my trailer from my previous performance, and they were actually very fascinated about that, and the fact that yes, somehow you could include industrial heritage and you could include like informations, like nearly documentary information about a refinery or a factory in a dance piece. So from that moment onwards, they were very open, and they also shared with me some very precious memory. For example, one of the directors of one of the main companies that was in the refinery told me how he was also a worker actually at the beginning, and when he was 18, he was cleaning tanks and he didn't know that it was dangerous to smoke. And he just entered this whole memory stream of consciousness, and it was very precious to feel he trusted me to share that information, and that he reacted to the word memory actually. When I said, yeah, actually I'm interested in memory, he was like, memory, yeah, I have some memories. And that was very beautiful.